Are you an aspiring VTuber but completely overwhelmed by the startup costs of a model? While it would be nice to commission a model and support an artist, not everyone is in the position to afford hundreds on a VTube model, especially when you're just starting out. Well, what if I told you you could make a model on a budget or for completely free? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a stream-ready VTuber model for absolutely free using VRoid Studio. No experience needed, no 3D modeling, and no pressure on your bank account. VRoid is a free app that you can download on Steam. It's essentially a 3D character creator with a large selection of presets and many additional resources and assets online. Once you have the software downloaded, go ahead and open it up and click Create New. You will have the option between Femme and Mask as your preset. I'm going to go ahead and click a Femme. Once you are loaded in, you will see this. Now, there are a couple of steps that I would recommend you do first before you start anything. And the first one is go to the Look tab and turn off the rim light, which is what you see here. Turn it off for everything and go to shading and turn it all off. This basically just removes the in-app VRoid shaders and rim light, which I personally think messes with the look of your model, and it kind of gives it that very stereotypical VRoid look. So my personal recommendation is to just turn everything off. Then you kind of have a clear base to work with. The next thing I recommend is to take off the default clothes that it puts you in by going up here and clicking this button. Now, I would also recommend going in and removing the inner bottom and inner top by simply going to the texture edit and erasing them, which you can do here by clicking the edit texture button in the top right corner and just simply disabling it. This makes it to where if you're doing edits on the body like textures or even just with your sliders, you can kind of see things a little better. Now that those steps are done, we are ready to start making our model. VRoid has a lot of preset options that you can pick from. You can absolutely build your model using just presets, but if you like more customization, you can use the sliders on the right to adjust. If you find a preset that you like, but you want a little bit of tweaking to it, you can go over here to the sliders on the right and start adjusting. A little tip I would give is to remember that even though it appears that the sliders have a minimum and maximum value, you can actually override this by entering a number value. So for example, if we want to increase our shoulder width more than 1.0, we can simply put 2.0 and it will go beyond what the slider's max is. This is very important to keep in mind if you want to adjust certain body parts past their limit. This kind of just gives you a little bit more freedom in customization. All right, I just kind of put together a couple of presets, kind of just to give you guys an example. If you can't find something you like in presets, VRoid has a large amount of assets and textures online made by artists on sites like Booth. Go to booth.pm and search VRoid and you will find hundreds and thousands of assets that you can use for your VRoid model. From clothes to skin textures to eye textures to hair. There's tons of assets on here, some of them being free, some of them being paid. I highly recommend looking into it and checking it out because it can really change the game for your model. Now, please note, if you do go this route and download assets from Booth, be sure to check the artist TOS to ensure that you are allowed to use it for streaming and commercial uses. If you do download assets on Booth, they will either be imported using the import custom items option or by editing textures up here on the top right. Now, once you are done with your model's face, go over to the expression editor. Now, this isn't necessarily required, but I personally think the defaults for expressions are a little exaggerated and need some tweaking. So I highly recommend going in here and adjusting some of the things down a little bit so they're not so crazy. Once you are finally satisfied with your model, go ahead and export it by clicking this button up here in the top right and export as VRM. You can then import this model into apps like VC Face or VNyan, which is what I use for streaming. Now, there are tons of features on here. I could go into all the details about how to tweak everything exactly, but my main recommendation is to just go in and start messing with things, mess around, play with things, adjust sliders until you find what you like. It's kind of a little bit of a mess around and find out kind of situation. So just go in, play with everything until you get something that you like. You can always adjust and tweak it and make it better later. And there you go. You are now ready to stream with your new model. I hope you found this video helpful, and be sure to comment any questions you might have. Maybe I can help answer them. If you'd like to learn more about additional add-ons like ARKit tracking integration or extra expressions like mine has, I will also be making a separate video on those. These add-ons cost a few bucks, but in my opinion are very worth it. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to leave me a like. Bye-bye!